The communication is back. So as we mentioned in our last cut-in, that there's a 10-minute window at which they wouldn't hear. Actually, it was less than 10-minute window, but they went off at 44 after the hour. They just came back at 51 past the hour, and we're now 6 minutes away from splashdown. Take us inside the capsule, Cyan.
This is such exciting news. You know, getting that comms back is so important. Again, Dragon is designed to be autonomous, so it's going to go through all of the things that it needs to do, but it's always good when you know you've got
altitude for drogue chute deployment.
So they're now going through, drogues are going to come out, then the mains are going to come out, and then once you've got those mains nice and you know, expanded out, that's really when the crew kind of has this moment where they, because they know now they're going to drift down to the ocean, splash down, and wait for the recovery vessel to come in.
Right. We see those the deployment there, but we're about a couple minutes away from the parachutes. Are there several parachutes that are deployed, and do they deploy separately? Is that right?
Yes. So the first thing that comes out is the drogues. And again, that's a part of the process, making sure that once those come out, you've got a couple of minutes in
the drogue window.
Hey, real quick, I want our viewers to know this is the first images. Oh, well, it's gone now. Of course, we're relying on NASA TV, but those were the first images that we have seen of the crew past the point of losing comms. You saw the difference, though. Their visors were down now, and they're strapped in. They've put away their personal laptops that they had strapped to their laps that they were working on. Now everything is in front of them. Is that right, Cyan?
That's correct. And what will happen is that you'll also have a seat rotation that happens for splashdown. And so they are really, I mean, before that happens, though, I will say the mission pilot and the commander are watching to make sure that those drogues come out, to make sure that the mains come out, because this is a moment where if for some reason the flight computer does not release the parachutes, they can manually fire them to be released. And there goes the parachutes right there.
You can hear the crowd cheer.
Visual on 2 healthy drogues.
Yeah, I want our viewers to understand that we're, you know, we get. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, those are the drogues, because the mains are going to be 4 mains that come up, but the drogues are going to start slowing that down and getting ready for the mains to come out. But this is exactly what we want to see. This is a beautiful sight. And again, the astronauts, the mission pilot and the commander, they can see things on their flight computer, on their screens, watching and monitoring this. And they're getting ready for the mains to fire.
So help us understand the speed at which you said they were traveling at what, Mach 25 during reentry. The drogues come out, those two, what I would call parachutes, those two come out, and there goes the mains, right?
Yes.
And so, wow,
this is really exciting.
This is really cool.
This is such a great moment. You know, I remember this moment and just watching, because on my monitor, I am the one who will switch to the view of the mains. And that right there, I remember me and my commander saying to us all, he was like, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Take a photo of that." And so I snapped a photo of that moment when the mains came out.
I think that's really neat, because you are just like the rest of us, right? You get giddy when something really cool and neat happens at work. And that's what we're seeing right now, that these astronauts have been training for years to do this, and to see everything operate at the way it's supposed to, and to see these parachutes deploy, and we're watching this thing cruise down off the coast of Tallahassee. Give us an idea of how fast it was going,
800 meters.
And then how fast is it going now?
Oh, you know what? That's a really great question. Off the top of my head, I actually don't remember what your speed slows down to under the mains. It was 4 years ago, but you come in going, you go from orbital velocity, 17,500 miles per hour, and then you hit the atmosphere. You're going at Mach 25, and then you have to slow down enough so that you basically look at them. Look at how happy they are. They are floating down through the atmosphere, And this is just such an exciting moment. And they're going to brace for impact here.
Yeah.
And that's the last step. But they are so happy to see those 4 healthy mains.
We are about 1 minute away from splashdown. Talk to us about impact, and I'm going to let you walk our viewers through it because I believe they slow down to, I don't know, around 30 miles per hour or so. And again, correct me if I'm wrong.
But the wrong number because people will be like, that was wrong.
Yeah, no, I understand. I totally get it. But here they are. And again, when you think that Butch and Sonny have been up in space waiting for this moment for 9 months, right? And we talked about this last week, Cyan. They've done and said everything the right way. But there has to be a point of them that's thinking, holy cow, I can't wait to see and hug my loved ones again.
Oh, they have to be smiling. They've got to be so happy. This is such a great moment. It's a great moment for America. It's a great moment for NASA. It's a great moment for SpaceX to be able to know that, we've got the technology and means to not only have.
Let's listen in. Let's listen in, Cyan.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
Crew 9 is back on Earth, and as you said, you described the cone of the Dragon capsule now
We see main shoots
will
cut.
kind of bob
Nick, Alex,
up,
Butch, Sonny,
and
on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
Woo! Yes, this is such a great moment. I'm so happy for them. They are going to be ecstatic.
An amazing, what a ride. I see a capsule full of grins ear to ear.
a capsule full of grins, Cyan.
I'm grinning. I think America's grinning right now. Everybody who has been following this journey for the last 9 months. Everybody is just so happy for this moment. And you can see how charred the Dragon capsule is from coming back through the atmosphere. But what a beautiful day. What a beautiful splashdown, and what a beautiful moment for NASA, SpaceX, and America.
Yeah, and talk to us again about these fast boats have now been deployed. We'll see them coming up shortly. Where do they come from? How far out do they have to be away from the splash zone? And then walk our viewers through again how long it takes for the actual capsule to be loaded onto a vessel.
Yeah, so what's happening now is there's an exclusion zone for the splashdown zone that the vessel and these fast boats come in from. And so that's just a couple of miles away. They come in. We should see them any moment now. But what happens is they come in to check to see and make sure that there's no, noxious gases that are coming off of the ship, because that's the most important thing is safety. Safety is always number one. But as soon as they make sure that the area is clear, what they will do is they will bring the boat in and they will hoist that capsule onto the back. And it takes time because, again, safety is always the most important thing. So those astronauts, they're just happy, they're grinning, they're relaxed because splashdown really represents the end of the mission.
Yeah, we're looking at these live images again from NASA TV, and it looks like directly to the 12 o'clock, right at the tip of that nose. If you look at the shore, the horizon, it looks like those fast boats are black, and then you see that larger white vessel behind. Is that right, Cyan?
That's correct. And so they are all moving in and ready to get the astronauts and lift them out of the water. But again, this takes time because it's all about safety first.
Yeah, when you look at that capsule, I mean, holy cow, has that thing been through the ringer?
From white like this to now that, because that's what I think people need to understand, that when they launch, it is, and this is refurbished, it's designed to be reused. And what's interesting is that, SpaceX and their amazing technology can take this capsule, and you can see it in the image there and what it looked like coming back from space, and now after it's entered the atmosphere, what it looks like. And you can see those
Expect
fast boats
personnel
coming in,
alongside in the next few minutes.
and
Yeah.
they're going to collect the parachute, and they're going to check out to make sure that there are no dangerous chemicals coming off of the vehicle.
Let's talk about the science that is learned here, because in the end, that's what this is all about, right? Specifically when and we'll just continue to watch these live pictures with our viewers at home, and we'll stop and pause when NASA TV kind of takes over or starts to explain things better. And you too, Cyan, as you're watching these pictures. But the toll that this has taken on Butch and Sonny's bodies is really incredible. And that's why we don't expect them to walk out of this capsule when it is finally loaded onto that larger ship that's there in the distance. But instead, they could be kind of carried off. But will there be, doctors there to really review and talk about the toll and see the toll that being in space that long takes on the body? Of course, we know people have been up there longer, but they weren't supposed to be there that long.
That is correct. And so once they get the Dragon capsule onto the back of the boat and they open that side hatch, the first thing is going to be medical. They're going to go in and they're going to check on the astronauts and see how they are feeling. That is so important, like you said. And I think what's amazing when you talk about Butch and Sonny is the ability to mentally, physically, and emotionally find out that your 8-day journey is now going to be a 9-month journey, and to make that switch because they are so professional that because they didn't plan on this. So now they're going to be working out every day, and they've got to stay mentally, physically, and emotionally in the game for such a longer time than anticipated. But what I love about this is that they are seasoned astronauts. And so they know how to, make that adjustment and be able to go and do this long duration space flight.
Another thing that people at home may not realize is our digestive system works on gravity in part, right? And so, while you may think, hey, Butch and Sonny can't wait to get out of this thing and get their favorite home cooked meal, is that a reality? And is there a time at which they have to still eat a bland diet? Does diet matter at this point?
It always matters. And nutrition is key to staying healthy. And this is another thing that a lot of times you don't think about, is that there is psychology in food. Food and mood are linked together. And so again, you're going on what you thought was an 8-day journey to space, and now you're up there for 9 months. Did they even pack your favorite meals, right? And so I imagine when they sent up, the Crew 9 with only 2 astronauts, that Butch and Sonny said, hey,
Checks are nominal. Rigging is in progress. Approximately 25 minutes until capsule lift. Stand by for PMC with SpaceX flight surgeon.
So
what was that saying? Yeah.
What we did just
And that's normal.
Yeah. So the white vessel there in the background, is that the one that will haul the space capsule back to shore?
Yes, that is.
Okay, and they said that's about 25 minutes away from happening. So it looks like they've got kind of a device there to kind of wrangle it up. What is it? What's happening right there?
Yeah, and so right now you see the person has just gotten onto the capsule. So there's an actual person on the capsule, and again, they're basically checking out the vehicle, and they're going to be the ones that are going to help rig the that
Call will be from the SpaceX flight surgeon on Dragon to Ground Private.
they're going to bring that ship up, and they're going to back it up, and they're going to rig the capsule to be able to be pulled out of the water with the astronauts still in the capsule. And so this is all part of the normal procedures that are happening right here. And that call with the flight doctor, that's also part of that normal procedure. I love seeing this person climbing onto this charred Dragon capsule. This is such an amazing thing to watch.
You know, it's equally as cool for us to hear you geek out on this stuff, because this is your world, and we're geeking out with you. Is he literally peering into the windows there? Is he looking down at the astronauts saying, "Hey, welcome home"?
Well, there was the side windows, yes.
Yeah.
So he could actually look in and see. But his job right now, or her job, their job is to go and again get that vessel ready to be hoisted up by that recovery vessel. And so they want to get those astronauts up and onto the back of that as quickly as possible. Gotcha.
And again, we're told the whole process to recover the capsule could take about an hour or longer. We know, Cyan, that when they return back to shore, there will be a news briefing right around, I think, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, in which we will hear 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 here locally in the Central Time Zone, and we will hear for the first time from Butch and Sunny. But how exhausted are they? Again, we can't wait to hear from them, right? Because those are the people we want to hear from. But they've got to be exhausted.
Yes, because again, this is a mental shift they had to go through 8 days to 9 months. And so they're just going to be so happy to be home. And I want to get back to what we were talking about, food and nutrition, because again, your food and mood are so tied together. And now you're going to be eating food for 9 months. And if it's food that you're just not used to because you weren't expecting it. One of the big things is making sure that the astronauts are getting enough nutrition. And so to put it in context, when we were in space, SpaceX was like, "Hey, we're going to feed you all this healthy stuff." And we were like, "Nope, we're only going for 3 days. It's like a camping trip." So I had cold pizza and I had a BLT sandwich and stuff. So I can imagine that these, Butch and Sunny are thinking, what am I going to eat when I get home? And what was funny with our recovery is that they had fried chicken waiting for us on the recovery vessel, because my crew member Haley was like, "Is there anything you want to eat when you get off, out of the spacecraft?" And she was like, "I want fried chicken."
And they had it ready for you. What about family?
They had it ready for us.
Was your family waiting there on shore?
Yes. So right now, then what's happening is only the needed personnel are going to be on the recovery vessel. Okay. And then what's amazing is that when we got off of the spacecraft, we went through another medical checkout. So there's little bays where we each got to sit down and we were checked out by the doctor, but then we were put on a helicopter, and which was really cool. And we were taken by helicopter back to Kennedy Space Center, where our families were waiting for us. And that was such a special moment.
Well, it's going to be infinitely special for Butch and Sunny and the other two astronauts, of course, but for folks who, thought, again, they were taking off on an 8-day test flight, ended up being 9 months in space. Cyan Proctor, thank you again for your context and your perspective. You do a great job on television. I love the use of your models, and we will see you tonight for the news on Merit TV. Thank you again, Cyan, for that. We now return our viewers to Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Tonight, she is covering a case of a missing mom, Nikki Chang, which has now been declared a homicide investigation. More live coverage of this story at the top of the hour on the news on Merit TV.
So did you see the blinking?
Certainly, Nancy. And, when we look